Good night, Mr. Wade. We're live, sir.
Good night, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, and looking forward to a blessed show tonight.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully we'll impart something to our audience they they may be able to enjoy,
Yes, sir.
and derive some kind of public benefit, positive public benefit from it as well. Um, my name
Amen.
is Leonard Brackett. This is the Belizean Affairs Show number 463. 463. We're grateful to be granted the privilege of life to be here tonight for another occasion.
Yes, sir.
And
Amen.
I'll just go ahead and bow my head and do a short prayer as we
Yes,
normally
sir.
do. Divine loving Father, we thank you for thy bountiful blessings on us, undeserving sinners. We pray that thou must continue to hear our supplications, that thou would continue to take care of us, look out for us, even when we don't know that we need being looked after or look out for. We pray that thou mayest continue to bless our family members, each and every one of them, as if they were each mentioned by name and numbers. We pray that thou mayest bless our extended family members as well, as our friends and our brothers and sisters in our country of Belize, and those who are abroad and others. We pray that thou mayest bless the rest of humanity, thou knowest each and every one of our concerns, our trials and tribulations and travails. We pray that thou mayest assist us in being able to overcome them. Please continue to bless this country. Please bless the country of Belize, its people and leadership, and the rest of humanity. For we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And you, Mr.
Thank you,
Wade, will you
Leonard.
bless us with a
Yes.
prayer? I mean, with a reading?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. I will. And also, we give thanks and praise for this day because tomorrow is promised to no one.
Yes,
So we
sir.
give thanks and praise to the Almighty for breathing the air we breathe today.
Amen.
Um, I'll do a reading, Leonard, from Ecclesiastes 5, 10 to 20. And it reads, he who loves money will not be satisfied with money,
Hmm.
nor he who loves wealth with his income. This also is vanity. When goods increase, they increase who eat them. And what advantage has their owner but to see them with his eyes? Sweet is the sleep of a laborer, whether he eats little or much. But the full stomach of the rich will not let him sleep. There is a grievous evil that I have seen under the sun. Riches were kept by their owner to his hurt, and those riches were lost in a bad venture. And is he is father of a son, but he has nothing in his hand. As he came from his mother's womb, he shall go again. Naked as he came, and naked take nothing for his toil that he may carry away in his hand. This also is a grievous evil. Just as he came, so shall he go. And what gain is there to him who toils for the the wind. Moreover, all his days he eat and drink, he eats in darkness, and much vexation, and sickness, and hunger. Behold, what I have seen to be good and fitting is to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun. The few days of his life that God has given him, for this is his lot. Everyone also to whom God has given wealth and possession and power to enjoy them, and to accept his lot and rejoice in his toil. This is the gift of God, for he will not much remember the days of his life because God keeps him occupied with joy in his heart. That's my reading, Mr. Chairman. Ecclesiastes. It's about
Yes, sir.
eat, drink, and be merry, and do right by yourself, and the evil under the sun, all the evil under the sun that you have seen in your lifetime. There we go, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. I just want to finish into a couple of dates here and
Yes, sir.
launch the other part of our program in the meantime.
Yes,
Could you give
sir.
us some cautionary guidance
Yes,
there
sir.
for the season? Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir. My people, again, we want you to remember June to November. June to November, and we see around us what's happening already. There are earthquakes nearby, the nation of Belize, in the area, round and about. Please take heed. And for those who are out there on the highways, be mindful of the flooding that had just left us a week ago. I want you to remember that the highways are in deplorable conditions. So please be mindful driving, because you're driving and suddenly there are some big holes in front of you. So if you don't know what to do, well, there you go. Cause an accident, injure yourself, maim some people, or take away the lives of some people. So please be mindful. The highways are in deplorable conditions from north to south, east to west. So don't put your guard down. Again, today was a sunny day in the nation of Belize. Don't let that fool you. There are lots of things happening in the Pacific, Atlantic, in the Caribbean. So just take heed. Protect yourself, your loved ones, your property. You got to do that yourself because the system is not going to help you. You've been down that road before. And again, for those in the people in the Belize River Valley, be very mindful. Move on to higher grounds because the floods are coming. Secure your livestock and secure your family and yourselves. Take heed. Mr. Chairman, back to you.
Yes, sir. I did something here and I lost the other transmission. Mm, I lost the other transmission. I don't know how come. Something else popped up on my screen just now. I knocked it off.
There's a lot going on in the nation.
I'm trying to
Publicly, you see what's going
look
on.
up right now quickly. Yeah.
Also, what we disseminate to you, then maybe there's things that you already know or you didn't know. Hopefully, that you take away some good from our program and take heed. The saga of the nepotism hasn't stopped. Uh, the wasteful spending hasn't stopped. The behavior of your leaders haven't stopped. So you, my people, decide when it comes that day to go and cast your ballot. Do it responsibly, right? Only you, the people, can save the people. No one else.
That's strange.
Leonard,
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Good. Oh, man. Okay, okay, so I can't get these people back on the other side of this stuff. Mm.
your lawyers are at war. Your attorneys are at war with each other. One group is barking down on the other group, and the other group is barking down on the justice system for some vacancies, and the person that they gave that post to, group of lawyer, defense attorney, do not like it, and they are fighting not physically but by words. So let's see how that will play out.
Okay, so I couldn't get back to the original location
There's a lot going on,
which I
Leonard.
launched, so
So
I just locked it into something else, another location, and it's working out that way. So I'm gonna live with that for right now, so I don't kill too much more time. Um, Normally we would have a different chairman for tonight, and tonight being Monday, I'll be substituting as co-chairman, and we hope to bring you whatever we can in the meantime. And if the chairman for tonight shows up, then we'll just turn the program over to him, since he might have something prepared that's different than what we're about to start out with. But let me say this quickly here. I had the occasion to have a few discussions with some individuals, and let me see if I can pull this particular. Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, so what had happened is recently the the attorney general had inti- intimated that the cyberbullying laws was going to be sent back to the House of Representatives for them to amend it in order for them to try and hopefully make it legal, because as it is right now, the way they structured it is unconstitutional, illegal, and unlawful. And they put it on the book and they try to victimize some people with it, only to find themselves turning around and saying, okay, well, the Prime Minister himself committed to the idea of taking back the cyberbullying laws to the House from remedial action. And on top of that, there was a young lady and her mother recently, who were bullied by some police officers. Not only just bullied, but they were actually um, roughed up and taken into custody under presumed cyberbullying law, which is to say that the very same law that the Prime Minister has declared unconstitutional and the Attorney General have declared unconstitutional, and which we on this platform have been telling them for years now, from the time they put that cyberbullying program in place and other laws that they have been putting in place, onerous laws. We have been pointing out these errors, omissions, and in some instances, maybe just oversight on their part, but they have no regards to what we have to say. So they go on, commit crimes against the population under the color of law and lawmakers and lawmaking because they persist in making bogus, unconstitutional laws that they themselves should be smart enough to recognize, according to what the Constitution says, that those laws are basically stillbirth from the time they create them because they have no constitutional support, legality, or lawfulness. But yet they put them on the book and commit travesties against these people, as in the case of this young lady and her mother that I mentioned earlier. Beat them down in the ground, arrest them, take them to the station, and turn around and want to charge them for resisting arrest. They're the one got beat down now, remember. Okay? But they're also the one that's going to end up with a charge sheet of resisting arrest. And quite possibly, because of the deviousness how the police department work, they won't try and overcharge them in the sense that they won't try and find all kind of possible things to say. They probably assaulted some of the officers as well in the process of resisting the arrest while they were being beaten down, so that they come to arrest them for a bogus cyberbullying law and allegation that has no merits unto itself or any legality unto itself. But then they're going to have secondary charges that, while the primary charge may not stick, because the Prime Minister and the Attorney General have already recognized that the law itself is bogus and unconstitutional. But in the meantime, these people are suffering consequences that they have no reprieve from because they have to go and get a lawyer. They're not rich people, they are poor people. Okay? So then, the onerousness of the system in recognizing and knowing that those laws are inconsistent with the Constitution and that they should not be using the power of state, such as police and BDF with guns and all kind of stuff, 3 truckloads of them going to arrest a one young lady for cyberbullying crime, something that is actually a civil matter. They're going to turn it into a criminal matter and relate to these people as if they were actual criminals and make them into criminals by interacting with them, turn around, beat them up, and then turn around and allege that they are the one resisting arrest, so therefore they have to be beaten up, so therefore they have no standings if they go to court and claim that they were beaten up, because the police word will be taken over the word of the other individuals. Of course, there were videotapes. So anybody who saw what took place there can come to an adequate conclusion on their own, which they're all entitled to. A lot of people having different conclusions, different perspectives. A lot of police officers and other family members are calling or getting on the internet and are making all kind of stipulations and making all kind of statements in defense of the indefensible. How the hell can you take over a dozen officers to go and beat down a family of 2, initially 1, until the young lady mother got involved and was saying that they were taking chance and they weren't conducting themselves adequately. So then she was pushed aside or end up in the fray and then want to charge her too. They are not getting charged for their brutality and their um, crimes that they commit under the color of law. No, nobody's going to prosecute the police officers for their wrongdoing. Or nobody's going to prosecute the person that sent the police officers out there, which had to have been somebody in authority above them, to go and execute a bogus um, um, effort. Because, like I said, if the young lady had committed a cyberbully crime, as they were alleging, that should have been between the young lady and the person that she was committing the cyberbully crime against in terms of a civil matter, which does not require the involvement of police officer, much less to have the police officer commit crimes under the color of law on behalf of a third party. That's not the way our system is set up. But that's how it's being run right now. You can go and make your allegation at the police station about whatever you want to allege. But the police must know its jurisdiction, its right, and the authority vested in it, and to carry out the laws of the country. Not to do no favor on behalf of somebody else and then hide behind the fact that they're officers. Officers are not above the law. Either the ones that go and commit the crime on the street against the unarmed population or the people that sent them are not above the law. They cannot and should not be given illegal orders to carry out. So now, how are these people going to get vindicated or get back their rights established, or the time that they spent in jail overnight for having been arrested? In fact, it wasn't even an overnight, because the matter happened on a Friday, which meant then that the people could not have gotten bail until Monday, which is today at the earliest. So they spent time in Peace House overnight for a few nights, as a matter of fact. How fair is that? And as I said, the matter should have gone through the courts before any police get involved, because it's a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter. There's a difference between a criminal matter and a civil matter. The criminal matter is when the police gets involved. The civil matter is when two persons have a beef with each other that ends up with a suit. You could sue somebody for whatever crime you want to allege or whatever you want to allege. That doesn't mean that by you suing that person should be grabbed by the police and beaten up, beaten down, mistreated, put in jail, and then afterwards, when the matter goes to the court, your lawsuit is thrown out because in the first place it had no merits. Then what happened to those people just go like that? It's like no big deal. Well, it happened already, so tough luck. That's not the way the system is set up. And the police officers and their superior officers and anybody else should not be encouraging that kind of nonsense in the country. Especially after having heard that the Attorney General, because it's news in all the media houses, that they have finally recognized that the law that they are having these people behave under or act under is not lawful, it's not legal, it's not constitutional, and therefore they are promising to go and make it constitutional. Well, until they make it constitutional, they shouldn't be running around taking advantage and chancing people. As a result of another issue which combines with that, because I'm trying to get to where what I'm about to present would make sense to those who are hearing what I'm saying, and so I have to do the context. One of our ministers also had a question asked of him in regards to a couple of individuals harassing a newly born jaguar. And this minister, in the answer to what was asked of him, stipulated that yes, it was a crime that the individual committed by messing with the I think it was like a 2 week Jaguar. Jaguar of about 2 weeks age, right? And they got lucky because if the mother of that little Jaguar was around, somebody would have been in trouble, serious trouble, because they would have been attacked. But the minister answered and said, yes, it's illegal. We have laws on the book. But yet he won't declare that for them to attempt to go and arrest these individuals would have amounted to an exaggeration um, or to send police officers to arrest these people and to prosecute them for having committed the crime against the laws that we have on the book. It wasn't going to be necessary, or it shouldn't have been necessary. In other words, it was like an exaggerated effort. You have the damn law on the book. You are penalizing a lot of other people and have penalized a lot of other people with the same damn law. But because these two individuals happen to have been foreigners, you want to exculpate them, or you want to pretend like, well, the law doesn't apply to them, only to the local people of the country. How much of an idiot does a minister have to be to make that kind of stipulated statement in public? So then I had the temerity to make a comment about his comment, and someone who thought themselves as being slick or sly or cagey or whatever you want to call them turned around and tried to say that if it was a UDP minister that had done that, I wouldn't be making any beef about it. Hell, man, have some have man. Anyhow, this person knows me as a matter of fact, right? So they should not have come to me or gone off on that particular leg, knowing who I am and how I react to this kind of stupidity. Okay? And then the person is gonna be cursing bad words at me and carry on, in a blackguarding way, right? Now, most of you who would know me or know anything about me know that I'm an easygoing person, but every once in a while I could get flustered just as well as anybody else. So I decided, you know what? Let me reply to this idiot, because first of all, it's not the first time that he has attempted to try and bully me. Now I don't know how he can't get it so far, because it's more than one occasion that we have crossed paths. But he's going to try and bully the bully master, and then turn around and cry like a little baby when he gets your head handed to him in a platter. Okay? You have a right to have your own opinions, ideas, and make your own comments. That's what the platforms are there for. But so likewise, as you have your right to express your own ideas and propagate them, you also have the accountability to deal with your expressions. If it's unfavorable, or if it relates to somebody else that you're trying to chance, there is accountability. You have your right, but your right now exculpate you from your accountability. Grown people understand that. You go and punch somebody in the nose and see if they don't do something back, and you say, well, you have a right. So you have a right to punch them, so therefore nothing shouldn't have been done to you. You're crazy, you're stupid, or you don't understand human beings. Anyhow, let me get to I'm going around in a big, long circle, or big circle, to get to what I'm trying to present tonight. Right? So I just want to beg pardon and ask that you bear with me a little bit, because by the time I present what I'm trying to present or intend to present, you would be happy that you'll be patient with me so I could get to the points. Nevertheless, I just a minute. I have something here that I need was okay. Okay, so I got it back. So uh, I'm going to read the comment that I made about the article, okay, regarding this minister. So I said, your pup-led cabinet and government is inconsistent in its bogus policies, as I put in comma, you're claiming that it is excessive to put a man hunt for the person who harassed the baby jaguar, which is a criminal offense or a criminal act according to the laws. But I don't see the minister make the same kind of excuses when it comes to Belizeans about laws that are not even criminal in the first place and laws that are actually um, inconsistent with the Constitution. So that's the point that I was trying to raise when I made this comment. And I went on to say, however, your police and BDF exercised extreme brutality to hunt down and storm and brutalize and arrest a young lady and her mom on a cyberbullying allegation, which could be at most or at best, let me see, yeah, yeah, which could be at best a civil matter. In other words, it wasn't a criminal matter. So why are you going to send police and BDF to go hunt down a human being for a crime that is not a crime? Because the law that stipulates that that was a crime, um, uh, the, the law that stipulates that that was a crime, you have already found it to be unlawful, illegal, and unconstitutional. But yet you're going to send BDF, a large number of them, with guns and everything drawn, and a large number of police officers to go and hunt down. You say it's over. You say it's a what? Let me use the exact term that they use. Okay, that he used. Um. Oh man.
Is
Yeah.
it Mr. Morrison in the background?
Uh, yes. I think yes, sir. Let me bring it in. Thank you very
Please,
much for
yeah.
your observation, Mr.
Please do, yeah.
Uh, Good evening, Mr. Morrison.
Good
I'm
evening,
sorry that I had
gentlemen.
you sitting there for what I don't know for how long, but what
Only,
I'm
only, only like
I
10
was getting
minutes.
caught. Oh man, that's a long time. Sorry, please accept my apologies, sir. I got caught up in like I was getting a little emotional with this presentation, because it really
Yes, I was
pisses me
listening to
off. I
you.
mean, it makes me mad.
Yes.
I'm like almost at the top of the hill, ready to roll down.
Mm.
It's unconscionable. Let me so you had a chance to hear a little bit of what I was saying then.
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
So
I did. And,
okay. So I
and
just want to finish read this stuff and then I'll hopefully have you and Mr. Wade and giving a comments, no? Because I have a little bit more to go. But I just want to finish up this little part then. So uh, I said your popular cabinet and government is inconsistent in its bogus policies. You're claiming that it is excessive. That was the word I was looking for just now when I got lost. I was looking for the term excessive because the minister claimed that it it is excessive to put and to put out a manhunt for the person who who harassed the baby jaguar, which is a criminal act. That's a crime, criminal according to how we define it in our laws. And nobody have any like issue with the fact that it's a crime. I mean, it's criminal to do certain things, and in that regards, the only then I said, however, your police and BDF exercise extreme brutality to hunt down and storm uh, and brutalize and arrest a young lady and her mom on cyberbullying allegation, which could be at best a civil matter that does not require police involvement unless directed by a warrant, a court, under an illegal, unlawful, unconstitutional other law, as is called out for in as per section 2, subsection 2 of the Belize Constitution and section 12. So What Section 2 says is that any other law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is null and void. In other words, it's stillborn. We've been saying that on this platform here from the time that law was brought into existence, and we reviewed it, and we pointed out that the stuff was inconsistent with the Constitution. They didn't go back and change it then. They waited until a lot of people got hurt with it. Mr. August got hurt with it. And because Mr. August is somebody of substance in the society in terms of having political muscle, they then decide, okay, well, they're not going to go ahead and prosecute him. But yet they're going ahead and sending police officers out to commit a crime against unarmed citizens. A crime that is not a crime because they already recognize that the law, the Prime Minister himself stated that the law was inconsistent and that he had gotten advice from the Attorney General and they were going to go and rectify what is not a bona fide law, something that they are stipulating is a law because they passed it, but that is null and void. It's violative of the Constitution, and the Constitution says under Section 2, any other law that is inconsistent with this Constitution shall be deemed to its inconsistency as being null and void. Um, I have a lot more that I need to go into, as I said, but I will not go there right now. I'll yield to Mr. Morrison for him. I mean, first, I'm sorry, first to Mr. Wade. For a short comment, Mr. Wade, I don't want to abuse your graciousness in terms of these legal things that I'm talking about, but I do need your input because you're a former BDF and a former police officer, somebody of substance in that area. And then I'll go to Mr. Morrison for another short comment, after which I would like to clear up where I was going with the whole of this craziness. Now, I yield, Mr. Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, sir.
You see, as the presentation there, Mr. Chairman, you see the double standard, right? We always talk about double standard, right? And it's so sad to see these things repeat itself. You know how the police behave in pursuing an arrest, on an unwarranted arrest. You know, you said clearly, Mr. Chairman, how that matter could have been resolved. And furthermore, you say we see that they have withdrawn that cyberbullying law and they are taking it back to the House for some amendment. So I don't know how that will play out after the fact that these people are already been brutalized and put through the mails and put through the ringer and you know um, talked to in manner that they shouldn't have been talked to, be touched in manner that they shouldn't have been touched, and you know it's a mess, right? And we constantly see, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Morrison, how the police abuses our civilians, and sometimes it's been caught on tape and video, and then you see their bosses, like for instance the commissioner of police, they'll dissect this tape and they'll say, Mr. Williams had a tendency of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That hit wasn't a hit. He only made that he was going to hit, or that move wasn't, or that's not the person, or his hand wasn't, and they play that out, and that's what goes to court. In the meantime, what happened to the individual? So sad. Put them in some financial difficulty, and have to get an attorney with money they don't have, and then
They lose the freedom.
what
They lose
happened
their freedom too
afterwards?
because
Yes, and these policemen, they walk away with a smile on their face, and leave a family deprived, and then you see the situation with that, because that was a tourist,
Mhm.
American,
Well,
and that's how they
he's a he had dual citizenship, Belizean and
yes,
American.
right.
So they are trying to
So
control to the American
So you
government.
see exactly how that played out, and it's a habitual practice. The double standard is been shown regularly. I have always says that there in Belize there is two type of law, two kinds of laws, right, in the country. One for the rich and famous, and then the politicians and leaders and CEOs and ministers and all them. That's a law for them and the people with money. And then they have another law for the poor people. That's just another, the book is shown on you, right?
Mhm.
So we see it happen, and we wish that they would stop doing these evil things to innocent people. And it's so sad to see how these people end up trying to pay an attorney, and all kinds of bad things happen to these people when they are dragged into court by innocently by the police.
So
So that has to
some of
stop.
them mortgage their lands, Mr. Will, like in the case
Yes,
of these people, they
but
don't have no money, so they have to end up
yes,
lose their lands.
yes, so true
Right.
on that. I have had friends that has to, some of them still in court for 4 years now, dragged into court for a crime they know nothing about,
Mm-hmm.
but they had to sell their houses and sell their lands and still going to court,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's a fact, right? Innocently. And that was happening under the watch of Mr. Chester Williams. And that's a friend of mine. I consider him as still a friend of mine, right? But if you're wrong, I'm going to say you are wrong. But at the end of the day, whatever you do here on the face of this earth, whether it's a good deed, you'll get paid for your good deed. And if you do a bad deed, you'll pay it right here, my brother and sister. Okay?
Thank you very much,
Back to
Mr.
you.
Will, for
Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you very much for your lucid contribution, sir, and your personal experience and knowledge. Mr. Morrison, I'd like to yield to you, sir, so you can give us a little assistance from your vantage point.
Yeah. Good evening to all, and thank you very much. It's always a pleasure being here with you, gentlemen.
Good evening,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Um,
Same
you
here.
know, yeah, thank you. It shows so much inconsistency in our laws and in how our laws are executed and how we are set to be governed. But it shows most completely is that our police department definitely needs some training in terms of policing and in terms of the laws and in terms of our constitution because we keep seeing these violations over and over and over. And I think what causes some of these is the extreme position and pressure we're always under with these SOEs because it takes away some of our normal constitutional rights when we start implementing these measures and they start acting like these are rights that are given up
And,
completely.
mhm.
On the issue of the people that were photographing and was interfering with the Jaguar pup, the truth is we need to understand the limits of the law and where to apply laws. Because certainly what he did was criminal, but I don't think you need to actually put a warrant for his arrest at the border and from flight and all that. Let me finish, sir. Let me finish, then you could jump in and say
Yes, sir,
anything.
but wait, wait,
No,
wait.
let me finish. Let me finish my
On the
point. Let me
point, no,
finish my point.
I would like to clarify that point. I was not, I made the statement not
No,
to
no, no,
intimidate.
no, no,
Wait,
no, no.
wait,
I'm not
let me,
talking about you. I'm not talking about you.
sir.
I'm talking
No, I'm trying to contribute something.
the general.
Let me contribute something else to what you're saying. I'm not taking away your time. I'm just trying to contribute something that is specifically helpful to what you're saying.
Okay.
I was a person that made the comment in what I read, right? I was talking to somebody else, right? In what I read, and I was saying, how come they are so inconsistent with how they are applying the law? They won't apply the law on this Belizean tourist in regards to what's on the book as legitimate law, which, as you were saying correctly, we have to differentiate and we have to be, but then they are willing to apply the law when that law is inconsistent with the Constitution for them to go out there and send police officers and soldiers to brutalize and beat down a couple of women folk, rough them up and mistreat them because they refuse to go to the police station under bogus charges of cyberbullying, which is not a crime. That is what I was trying to put those two things together and show how there's the inconsistency going on there. I wasn't trying to justify, whether the law about the Jaguar should be stronger or more lenient. I didn't get that far. But I
Yeah,
accept the premise, and please, sorry for interrupting you, sir, but I just want to clarify that for the correct perspective, no?
yeah, yeah. No,
I
my
yield back to
comment,
I yield back
my yeah, thank you, Mr. Brackett. My
to
comment was not directed at what you were saying, but a general conversation that has been ongoing on Facebook about whether they should go and search for these people and arrest them and stuff. We need to understand the law and the purpose of the law, and we need to understand human actions, and we need to understand criminality in its true sense if we're going to be a true, capable nation of making judgment about right and wrong and evaluate things. Because we need to understand this. Yes, the law needs to be upheld at all areas, but how you uphold it and when you uphold it is very important to making fairness and democracy, well, the justice system work, not democracy so much, but the justice system work. And so that was the point I was trying to make, is that while these individuals were definitely wrong and in contrary to what should be done when they see a wild animal, we have people that are running over animals on the road,
mm-hmm.
and they know who they are because they have their license plate and they're not going searching after them. So we need to understand with fullness and with clarity, and put things in perspective and proper measure. No
Okay.
way can
Sorry.
no way can we absolute the behavior and the infraction of the crime that was committed by interfering with the code. So while we still sit back and we see the offenses that the police carried out against the family, and then also Mr. August, and then in a law that already had some questions about its constitutionality, right? They still went ahead and choose to start implementing it and behaving in a way that was totally
Onerous.
inconsistent,
Onerous.
that is totally inconsistent with how policing is supposed to function within within the systems of our country. So we hope that what will happen from all these things that are becoming so visible on this law, that they'll take some measures to address it. There's no doubt that cyberbullying is a law we need to put on our books, but it needs to be a law that is well cycled in terms of knowing when to apply it and in what measures we need to take to make sure that someone is not harmed. We need to know when a person is truly a victim. And if the police themselves can't determine that, then part of it is to go to a judge and have the judge review a case of cyberbullying, and then making a decision as to whether it would warrant arrest of an individual if they're in fact um, doing something that could be considered cyberbullying and could cause immediate harm. Because for sure it could be a civil matter that could be
Right? It
resolved
is at the
within
best.
our judicial system. So thank you, and I see Mr. Brackett.
So right
Greg,
on that,
Yes, our chairman for the
Mr.
night is
Morrison.
available, and so I'll ask his indulgence for just at least 2 more minutes so I could finish read this stuff here quickly, and then I'll turn over the program to him, because his program might be something different than what we were trying to fill in with just now, no? And so we have to defer from this and give him the rest of his time, because it's not ours, it's his. Everybody have the right to do their program based on how they want it. And so quickly, then let me, Mr. Chairman, before I yield to you, sir, may I have at least another couple of minutes to just finish off this thought? Mr.
Proceed,
Brackett?
sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So the person that I alluded to earlier when I said somebody took me to task or tried to take me to task for having the temerity to point out the inconsistency and to cite the Constitution in regards to the inconsistency and the conduct of the police officers and what's been going on. This person decided to say, okay, well, Leonard Brackett, political fanatics like you make reasonable discussions impossible. How about addressing the matter objectively? If it had been if it had been done under the UDP, your ass would have had another viewpoint or remain silent. Now, I could not let that abide because the person, as I said, is someone with whom I have a running interaction in terms of our relationship having gone wrong for my always chiding him about his misconduct. So I said, I went on to say, I'm not calling the person name right now anyhow. I'll just go ahead and say what I said. I pity you for exercising your rights, which he's entitled to. It's his damn right to have an opinion and an idea according to the Constitution and according to each and every one of us have a right to have our own perspective. So I'm not trying to take away from his rights, right? He's a right to exercise his rights. But like I said earlier, all of us have the right to exercise our rights, but there's accountability that comes with the exercise of that right. So this was part of the accountability that I was bringing to his. Uh, Anyhow, I said, I pity you for for exercising your right to be an ignoramus pop apologist, and I open bracket saying, you seem to be losing your ability to read and analyze and comprehend and contextualize information that you are not aware of or that you are averse to. Do your own homework, I went on to say, and stop making childish, ignorant comment that exposes your unawareness, which I didn't want to say ignorance, because some people, when you use those kind of terms, they don't take it when it like when I say somebody's unaware, I'm literally stipulating that they are not aware of what the issue or the concern or what is it we're talking about. I don't want to say they are ignorant about it because I already use the term ignoramus at the top to classify his approach to me, and therefore I said, stop making childish, ignorant comment that exposes your unawareness and puny mind. The person went on to reply by saying, Leonard Brackett, and what's with all those needless punctuations marks? In my statement, he's chiding me, like I said, we chide each other all the time. So he's chiding me now for trying to be too grammatically. Um, so he says, think it adds any emphasis to what you're saying, or you have them, or you have time to waste. Your communication rings hollow and in no way addresses the topic at hand. Now, anybody having listened to or read what I read before that I had presented as my first point to the minister in retort or rebuttal to the minister would understand that the gentleman is far off base as of this point because I cited the Constitution, different sections and subsections of the Constitution to back up what I was pointing out to the minister, right? And now come this jackass to try and intimate that, well, everything that he had or should have read before getting to this point, he's totally unaware and he's now trying to, like, create a side show for us to go and have an extra side plum show, right? So I just left that there for then, and somebody else made another comment, and then I went on to say, let me just leave that what I went on to say because I asked the chairman for 2 minutes. I think I went far beyond that.
You
Some other
gone three already, Leonard. You gone three already.
some
Yeah.
other time I'll grace the
Yes,
show with
sir.
the opportunity to listen to the rest of the garbage that went on. But anyway, I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, and sorry for
Thank
overdoing
you,
it.
Mr. Brackett. I want to say good night to you guys
Good
sitting
night.
on
Good
the
night, Mr.
Good night,
Chairman. Good
platform.
sir.
night. Good night. Good night. Nice
I
to see
also
you.
want to say good night to the people at home and abroad. Welcome you to this our 463rd edition of Belizean Affairs. But tonight, I must go to the tape with this young lady. And even though I know that Mr. Brackett had an opportunity to discuss it a bit earlier, I want to show the difference to the people at home and abroad in how the police act and what is called cyberbullying and how the law and a whole need to totally
Revamp.
be revamped
Mm-hmm.
or go
At
over.
the least. At the least.
Let me go to the tape.
This is the video that went viral on social media over the weekend, showing a physical dispute between police and civilians in Cotton Tree Village. The police and a social worker were trying to detain Jessie Hyde for cyberbullying, but her mother wasn't having it. She held her ground and fiercely defended her daughter in a squalid struggle. Here's how that went. And it happened after Jessie Hyde was reportedly wanted for several cybercrimes. But the aunt whose home it happened inside and then in front of explains what transpired.
The only thing I could say when I look, I see my niece run come to my house, right? And right after that, the police they surrounded my house. Well, they asked me if the little girl was there. I told them yes because I can't hide her and I couldn't call it. So I respond back yes. My children ask if I start warrant. They tell me yes, they got one, but so far they never respond back. Nothing to us. So the man just, the one of the police officer, just walk in and she gone, because my niece run into my daughter room, and he went straight inside and I told him yes, a little girl is here. And he took her out and then she come out and then that's where all of them surrounded the little girl. And the lady were with me there with them. I know her as a social workers. And I call the legal ma. And I tell her and then they abuse it at her.
This is the result of ongoing personal disputes, but the aunt says that nevertheless, they should not have treated her like an animal.
We tell her run because then it's really hard to say how then they drag her like an animal from the street. I think she is threatening. That is my opinion. I think she is getting too much bully and too much things she's going through to be so young. And I don't think it's fair what they are doing to her because then we all are human. We all one family. And we all have children. And I be honest, I won't want nobody to do my children that. Just like what Ima say, that she think that they are chancing her daughter. They never should have dragged her how they drag her. They never should have treated her how they treated her.
Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
Gentlemen and people at home and abroad, there's so much that is wrong with the action on both sides. And this is what I want to discuss tonight. Because, first of all, if you listen to what the lady said,
They asked if they had a search warrant, and one of the officers said yes, but they were never showed one.
Lied.
That is out of context, and I will tell you why. You don't use a search warrant to go arrest somebody if you deem you come to pick them up for cyberbullying. You will have a arrest warrant with that individual name that you will call out, and then that search warrant, once you read it, should also specify what that person is charged with. That is the process. Mr. Morrison, I go to you first.
You're so correct, Mr. Brackett. To remove that young lady from her home would have required an arresting warrant, and it is so required that they identify themselves, identify that they warrant, read it out, and as you said, specify the crime that she was caused to be arrested for. That's why I say that our issues is going really deep. Our police is acting really like a rogue group. They're
Mobsters.
not
Bunch of gang.
they're not behaving with the code and law and color of authority. And I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know why, if it have been like this for a very long time, but but all the videos we've been seeing of recent is showing it up in such clear, vivid colors for us to all observe and absorb, and to recognize that something is really wrong with how we're doing policing.
The whole system is corrupt.
And so we need to step back and start asking these hard questions of the people that are in authority, and we need to start asking um, that our director of public prosecution and that our attorney general um, and these people that are responsible for the administering of our laws start finding ways to address these issues. And that also shows why we need an ombudsman in his office and in place, as our constitution requires, so that the public will have a means of having a redress when these issues come up. So I'm hoping that this incident once again put light on it, on this cyberbullying legislation that we have in place, how it is being abused in so many ways. I think I saw the lady. I don't know if she's really a police officer or if she's a social worker. If she's a social worker, she was not behaving like a social worker. Okay, she was behaving more like a law enforcement
Uh, an
type.
interested party. She was an interested party,
Well,
regardless of what was going on. She
yeah,
had the police behind her.
yeah. I don't know what her, but I'm saying she was not acting in the role of a social worker.
Hmm.
I don't know what her interest may have been in it, whether it is personal or whether it is just to the extent of trying to redress what she
She was
believed
fighting
was
the
a
young
wrong.
lady, and she was fighting the young lady and fighting the young lady mother as well. She had her
Yeah,
hands all over
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
somebody came and pulled her here, so now she won't claim that she got bullied. They were the one doing the physical bullying rather than just a cyber bully. You
Mr.
come
Brackett,
as
your turn
the
or my
chance it,
turn?
the chance man.
Let me
Go ahead, sir.
speak.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I know you get heated
And
in it,
chance it.
but one of the issues we need to make sure is that our police officers are trained, and because we are seeing so much ways where this cyberbullying law is being misused or not properly um, uh, understood, we need to make sure that It is such an important law because there are people that could really find themselves victims of cyberbullying and suffer real harm. I don't know what this young lady may have done. I don't know. We haven't heard that side of the story. But what we have heard so far is that the approach of the officers may have been illegal because they went there without a proper warrant. And yes, if they had reason and proper legal cause to arrest her, then that should have been done. But to make that clear to her and to the public that has interest in this case, the warrant for her arrest should have been read to her so that we wouldn't be at this juncture of the case of the situation where we could only see the abuse that was then impacted on her and her family. So thank you very much, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Mr. Wade, you are an ex-police officer. Is it not true that when you have a warrant for an arrest and you present it to the person and you read it, it states specifically what the arrest is for, and after you read that warrant and you are placing that individual under arrest, isn't the Miranda rights being administered?
Should be. Should
I
be.
go to you, Mr. Wade, to explain that.
Yes.
Do we have a Miranda rights in Belize?
Yes.
Something comparable. Something that
Yeah,
is
yeah. I just
comparable.
wanted to know. Yeah, I just wanted to know.
Yes. You're so right, Mr. Chairman, and I see that that's lacking. And Mr. Morrison, you mentioned training, right? I don't know the type of training that these police officers are getting now, but the training that I have got, right, in the police training school is far different from what I see now. But it should be the same training, the same laws, right? The same duties of a policeman, the same everything. But somewhere along the line, I think, and my observation as to what and the things that I have seen happening is that a lot of these police officers that's going out on the streets now to perform the duty and serve and protect, they are lacking something. So now I blame the authorities, the higher authorities like the commissioner of police, and I blame the people that are putting these training personnel in place to train the public that when they go in to be a police officer. They are not doing right. Somewhere along the line, they are not teaching them what they're supposed to be taught. And then when they pass out and they go to different formation, the OC of that formation have a lot of burden, right? And if they're lacking and they got there because the commissioner like you or somebody like you or some minister like you, and then they promote you because we see it happen, and they put you as the OC. Now you lacking also. Then the shift commander, the burden should be on that shift commander. Before you send out your men on or go on your shift, you should state as to what you expect them to do when they go out. Does that happen? I don't think that happens, because when these rogue officers jump out of these vehicles, it's like there's some bunch of wild hooligans with no kind of understanding, with no training, with no
Drunk,
sensitivity, right?
drunk with power.
So I say this because this root deeply because I see it happen too often. And then when they are caught and they, like for instance on that tape, which is I'm not even going to elaborate on that because anybody with good sense knows that they had abused their power right there.
Mm-hmm.
Abuse, right? They didn't approach the right way that they should have approached, and after that, they still abuse their powers.
Mm-hmm.
So, if these things that has been happening, Mr. Chairman, because that's that tape you showed, it's not the first time we see these things. Countless time. So who are to blame? Who are to blame? So the system needs a serious check from top to bottom because it's uncalled for, right? I say enough is enough. That's not the way a police officer that, you know, go into the system to serve and protect should, should behave. That's not the way they should behave. Period. From, like I say, from the top to the bottom, need a serious revamp and put in check and bring back the books of the police duties and bring back the books of the laws of the country and bring back the books of the constitution in the police academy, in the police training school, right? And that is lacking. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Mr. Wade, as an ex-police officer, I asked you to elaborate just now on an arrest. But as we can see, majority of these arrests are unconstitutional. And I will tell
Mention the
you
constitution.
why. The police is using detention, unconstitutional detention, unlawful detention for 48 hours before they make an arrest. The law has been come the law has come to that they can hold you for 48 hours. And they are misusing this to hold individual under the color of law
But not on pettiness either, Mr. Chairman. But not on pettiness.
who has created no crime.
Right.
It's a misuse of the law and a violation of the Constitution. I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Very much so, as you said, it's a violation of the Constitution without merit and very honorable. I'm using it. I don't want the term to be. I'll not use that term because I don't want it to be misunderstood by some other people who might think that I'm talking about honorable situation when I'm talking about just the opposite of honorable. So let me not use that term. The bottom line is that these police officers are not adequately trained, and even when they do wrong, they're not brought on the carpet for the wrongdoing, and or they are not given the additional support that they need in acquiring the knowledge and reinforcing that knowledge and that behavior pattern. What happens is that when they go out there and they commit crimes against unarmed civilians, they go out there with dictates and they try to issue illegal orders to the civilian and demand that the civilians comply. And when the civilian is a smart enough person to realize that they are being ordered or given illegal order and they're expected to comply with the legal order because the police says so, when the police should know what a legal or illegal order is. And they're not supposed to be out there trying to power play the people and issue any illegal orders because they can and should be brought to account for their illegal orders and illegal behavior. They are not above the law. They don't make the law themselves. individually. They are out there to carry out the rules and regulations under the Constitution that the Constitution allowed their department to create those rules and regulations for to interact with the public as peace officers, not as instigators and or as people who go out there as judge, jury, and executioner to incite and create a situation where it's hostility of the police against the people and the people against the police, and then the police turn around and hide behind the law and say, "Well, I am the authority. You didn't carry out the order that I gave you, or you disobeyed, or you violated. You didn't. Like for example, in the case of this young lady, they want her to go to station when she had already been to station quite a few times before then, and had adverse interactions with people at the station. So the young lady fears to go to the station because nothing comes out of her allegations against the brutality that they put on her when she's in their custody. This is not the first time that she has interacted with the police officers. And like I said, in the first place, those officers had to have been commanded by somebody else. Am I right or wrong, Mr. Wade?
Exactly.
Because that's the way the system works. So whoever
Well,
sent them out,
I
wait,
did put a senior officer there.
yeah, but wait, just a minute. Whoever sent them out there, because you don't send, or it's not an average person then, or an average police officer, or just a corporal or a sergeant that puts together a platoon of BDF, weapons drawing, long guns, and police officers with other handguns and all kind of other stuff to go and arrest one young lady, one underage person at that, or one person that is, I mean, barely, it's barely at about 19, probably going on 20 at the most. That is still considered to be a child. The fact that he passed 18, that young lady, after having suffered all of what she suffered in all the previous occasions, interacting with police officers and with her husband, who is the main instigator of the whole of this crap, accusing her of cyberbullying and a whole lot. And it's a long story. I dealt with some of the background of the story, so I know what I'm talking about. But people that don't know are contributing to the internet ideas and thoughts and beliefs that they think this and think that and think the other, totally out of scope of what the realities are in terms of what the case involves. And at the end of the day, no police officer is authorized or should be authorized by any superior officers, like the commanding officer, for example. That there must be a commanding officer that goes along when you have BDF involved with police officers. It's not just an average police officer that accompanies them, especially if they're going to go guns drawn and in multiple trucks. Like if they're going into a gang area or they're going to go and arrest somebody, some big gang member or groups that maybe have weapons too, or maybe they're going to put themselves in danger. This situation should not have happened over a cybercrime allegation in the first place, is my point. Knowing that the cybercrime laws have already been deemed and considered to be unconstitutional for as many years as we have been saying it to them. They finally got around to acknowledging that and deciding to make the change. So then why the hell they were sending out somebody out there with guns drawn to go and harass and beat down people, under the color of law? Somebody need to go to jail for that kind of behavior. That's a criminal act against the society. I'm not even talking about just against the family there. That act is committed criminally against all of us as members of the society. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. I want to
Mr.
say
Chairman, can I get a minute? I just want to, get something off my chest also. Is that not too long ago, there were civilians from various departments within the government structure that was sworn in as police officers. Injustice to the nation and to the public. They are doing the nation and the people an injustice. How can you do that? Who came up with that stupid idea? They are police officers. They were sworn in from custom, from immigration, from lands, from the forestry, from. I don't have a problem with them, Mr. Chairman, select some individual from within these departments and put them in the academy. Let them learn. Not just, I like you, I like you, I like you, come out and swear in as police officers. Who does that?
Criminals who
There are
intend
some
to, who intend
stupid,
to overthrow
stupid
the
leaders,
system.
stupid commissioner of police, stupid police minister that allows that to happen. Stupid structure all around. Shouldn't have happened.
Overthrowing the system, Mr. Wade. Overthrowing the
A
system. No
disservice.
better.
They are doing a disservice to the nation. Those individuals that coerced and came to that point.
I want to say this
That's how I feel.
to you, the people at home and abroad, and gentlemen. While we look at this incident, we must always say to individual, if the police come to arrest you, go with them. Your fight is not to obstruct or to assault. Even when they are wrong, your fight should always be in the court. So I just want to put that out there. I want to go to our next step because this is very important. And I want you, the people at home and abroad, to hear exactly what I'm about to say.
And I got some news for John Saldiva, because he was the one that is being so pious. The Auditor General is also going to be auditing all the way to 2015. And so we're going to find what John Saldiva was doing then. So if they want to talk about what's going on, then it is time for us to go and look at what happened under the UDP when they stole millions and millions and millions of dollars. There is
People at home and abroad, and gentlemen, we heard what the Prime Minister had to say. And this is very important because while he's saying going back to 2015, he's not saying going beyond 2015. And most Belizeans would know what happened before the UDP took office in 2008.
He hollered and tell them to bring back some of the millions on their care.
But
They never use
before I go to you guys, I want to play this tape just behind that because I want to get to something.
Sick, man.
The allegations being raised are very serious allegations, and they must be treated very seriously. Public funds do require public accounting. There's no way of getting around that. And I think Cabinet and Prime Minister understands that, and I think we've now taken the necessary steps to make sure that this happens. So I have every faith in the process that we've undertaken, and I am sure that the Belizean people will see that and will understand the work that we have been trying to put in place. And let me tell you this, I don't think what is happening can define the work that this government has done. We have done.
I want to stop it there because the good gentleman is trying to use the work they did to wipe away what is happening. Gentlemen and people at home and abroad, while the Prime Minister is saying he's going back to 2015, the Prime Minister seems to forget that there is a law that can go back beyond 2015, but they are not discussing it. So to revitalize their memory, and I will go to you, gentlemen, let's hear it.
Today, the Civil Asset Recovery and Unexplained Wealth Act was the focus of a joint initiative between the Financial Intelligence Unit FIU and the U.S. Embassy's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. This act gives the FIU the authority to recover assets and wealth acquired by individuals through criminal means. These persons will be investigated, and according to the Financial Secretary, Joseph Waite, anyone who's living in Belize can be the subject of the investigation.
This basically says, look, with the capacity and the training that we hope to get over in the coming months, this will give the authorities the tools to be able to say, look, if something looks cute, something looks funny, something looks unexplained, look into it and see. If it's proven that it is from an illegal source, it can be seized. No?
Includes everyone?
Yeah, everyone.
Including the Prime Minister?
Yeah, he's a citizen as well. Yeah.
The leader of a religious community?
Anybody who has unexplained.
Mr. Chairman, can I steal a minute from you, sir?
2 minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you. This gentleman is telling the truth, right? But he's one of the big scams them himself. Okay? Because we also have the goods on him. We have what we call the receipts on his butt. Okay? But all of them figure out that they could run this scam where they could say, well, the money that they got is not breaking this law because they got it by providing services. And those monies was paid to them by the government. These guys were a bunch of hoodlums who are one step too cute for their own good. And they take all of us for a bunch of idiots out here. Like, we're not supposed to know otherwise. We're not supposed to be able to figure out what they're doing and how they are doing it. At the end of the day, all those, well, most of those thousands and thousands of charges that were made to the BDF account to the tune of millions and multi-millions of dollars were being done just recently since they got into office. Okay? And they gave 35-year contract, I think, to this Auditor General, to whom the Prime Minister was saying it's going to do him a favor to go back and audit and try to find something under the UDP, and specifically as regards to John Saliva, because he is one of the ones that has the Mira family up in Belmopan in their eyes. So it's all a political gamesmanship that these guys are playing. But at the end of the day, they're all still a bunch of crooks. The other one here to talk about the work that they did. The work that they did is part of the same crookedness that we're talking about right now and asking them to be accountable for. Stop stealing the money. We don't care about the money being spent for the BDF and for whoever else. That the whole government service, we have a budget of almost $2 billion. Do you know how many hundreds of millions of dollars are accounted for in all the other different departments? We're talking about crazy stuff while they are trying to distract us with a make a shut up. I'll have enough time to say what I did.
Mr. Morrison.
You back, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Morrison. I go to you, Mr. Morrison.
His thing is off.
Your mic is mute there, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. You know, we find ourselves at this crossroad constantly where our system is revealing its underlying corruption and corruptedness that it's embroiled in. It's not easy to look at it and to realize that the people are not being served. But yet we have Mr. Chabat trying to tell us that this government is doing good and we can't judge what they're doing from what we're seeing. You know, we're seeing it, we're witnessing it, we're all here, and it doesn't matter which government it is, whether it's PUP or UDP. We're seeing that there's a great level of corruption going on. Some of it could be explained by them saying that, oh, when we do a contract or when we make a purchase, it takes so long for us to get paid and we need the money quickly and all that. But that is not excuse enough to be breaking the law and protocol of how things are supposed to be done, because as he rightly said, public funds need to be publicly accounted for. That's the responsibility. And by bypassing that, by not making tender and contracts, and by paying off these monies in small little sum that does not draw the scrutiny of confirming whether the funds are being spent on goods that's being received, is in fact a travesty to the people and the citizens. So we hope that they will continue to take measures, right? That whether it's UNCAD or I'm not a big one for UNCAD. I really
We need
don't
some
don't
outsider. We need some outside help with
yeah,
powers.
yeah. I'm not a
Local
big
powers can't cut it.
I'm not a big proponent of that type of um,
Heavy-handedness with
gesture that comes and becomes a burden on a nation, especially a small nation like Belize, because those same systems can be corrupted because they serve political interests of whoever is funding them. We
mm.
have to realize that they're not benign and they will not serve our interests because
So
it's
so
not
in so in
designed.
the meantime, we continue the way we are right now. Uh,
Well, they, they're not designed to serve our national interests. They can uncover some stuff, but we have to always realize they will have their own political objective of who they want to take down and who their preferences and such. So I am not a big proponent of it. But sometimes when I'm listening to what's going on, I am thinking that probably we need a little shake of things somewhere because it seems that the there's great unwillingness from either political party to address these things. Because right now some of these issues should be brought up by the opposition party, but they're sitting there blind, dumb, deaf, and not doing anything active to bring about any change in the system that is hampering and destroying this country. Yeah, they do get up and make a little noise at times, but we need legislation. We need court cases to hold the government of the day accountable. But they seem like I don't know. They seem like
Mr.
they
Morrison, I'm sure that you understand our system of governance in Belize and how
well.
the process operates.
Let me finish
I
my
don't have no
thought, and
doubt.
then you could
Okay,
let me
okay,
finish my
okay.
thought, and then you could
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
me what's wrong with it. Um, they seem that they are unwilling to make any effort to bring about the redress of these issues. I'm sure that yes, legal cases take time and it costs money, but I would think any opposition has lawyers on their staff that they could retain for services and pay them over time. But this unwillingness to address any of these things in the court from our opposition just seems dumb to me. So I'm hoping that I like when people like Mr. Enriquez, if he could do it, I don't know why the opposition cannot do it. If he could take his limited funds and sue the government on all these measures, whether it is district alignment or the lack of not having an omnibusman in the name of trying to bring about right and correctness and proper behavior on the part of the government, it shows to me that somehow our opposition is lacking. And I don't know where to
Um,
go with this other
I
than
need to I need to weigh
no,
in
no,
as
you don't have to weigh in yet. You don't
I
have to
know,
weigh
but
in yet. Let
but
me
you are
finish.
filibuster the rest of
I
the
know
time,
you.
man.
I know you support the opposition, but they are
Yes,
failing.
but
Failing.
you should that particular issue you should allow interaction back and forward rather than just
Okay,
run out the
please
time
go
for me.
ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Specifically, how can we go from having an onerous, dastardly set of criminals running our system of government who are duly elected, by the way, okay, duly elected by the people, who they tell one thing to the people when they want to get elected, and then they turn around and be scoundrels after they become elected? How can you blame the opposition for the mindset and behavior of the people in government when they have no control over them? They have no leverage. The government have the whole government structure available to it to carry out whatever is it that they want to carry out as a government. They have the economics, they have everything in their favor. And they have a super majority right now in the House. It's not like and Mr. Morrison just alluded to the idea that the opposition should be making laws and doing things to hold the government. It's not the opposition that makes laws in our system of government, which is why I asked him the question if he understood, or not a question. I think I made a statement. I said I thought that he clearly understands the system of government that we're living in. Because the opposition, as a small minority as they are right now, they can't even get up and rebut nothing that the government is saying, much less propose anything of their own. So it's kind of disingenuous to expect that that kind of result would be had without the powers of government being allowed for. The only thing that the opposition have a say in is in the committee that deals with the reports of financing and things like those for the government. That committee in the House of Representatives is chaired, I think, by the leader of the opposition or somebody on the opposition side. But that's as far as any powers or authority available to them. And then the information is not even allowed or given to them, because that's part of the reason why we haven't had a proper audit in the country for almost 15, 20 years. Because the government does not give the information or make the information available to the Auditor General, the Contractor General, and all these other people that have some leverage of powers in the system. They make them inefficient and ineffective. So then if the government does not do what they need to be doing, how the opposition is going to have any leverage to force them to? No, even the court is telling the government that they erred in certain instances. They have to pay certain payments to certain people. They have to make certain adjustments. And the government just snubs the court. The government that we have in place right now.
Mr. Brackett, we are at that time.
I yield, sir. No,
Mr.
you
Wade,
can take another 5 minutes if you need to, Mr. Chairman. Because,
Mr. Wade, I go to you for a comment and closing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As to that guy and that tape you played, Mr. Chairman, I already says that nothing comes out of that man's mouth that I believe. I do not believe anything that he says. I always, and I stand by that. And as to the Shabbat guy, they're in election mode, and they like you said to Mr. Chairman, they will have to have a lot of money to win the next election because of their confidence and the way they are behaving around the nation. As to go back to 2015, and he mentioned John Saliva, that's another the John Saliva tie-in to the Marine guy, right? and the Mira guy. So they want to tie in, whatever he had did, and they're going to say, you see, Mr. Chairman, they have their own auditor general. They have their own people in that. So let's see what they're going to bring up, what John Saliva did in his time, and I pretty much know what he did, because the Mira was us and parcel with the UDP. Then they ride with whoever in power, right? So maybe, just maybe, some of those contracts from the Mira was in the John Saliva time. What's likely, right? But these guys talk a whole bunch of crap and think that people are stupid. But anyway, like you said, Mr. Chairman, you played a tape that they should go back, and then what else? Say, go back to past 2015 and see what they say. So it's going to be an ongoing crap. And Leonard, I didn't believe Mr. Morrison was saying that. They were saying that the locks of the UDP, that they instead of people like myself and Mr. Enriquez to be fighting, the UDP should have had them in court right now as the opposition. I think that's what he was.
The UDP was engaged in
a. No, I'm just saying. I don't want to. I don't want to. Right? To me, I think. To me, I think instead of I took them for redistricting, I think that the UDP should have had them in court for redistricting, because they're paid by the taxpayer, right? So Yeah,
we
I know
all
what
know,
I'm saying,
we
right?
all know
So
that no
I
one do
think,
it because
yeah, I
when
think
Mr.
that's
Barrow
what.
was in power, we try to get him to do it, and he
Yes,
still
sir. I'm
chase.
right. So I think that was the
None
road
of them want to do it.
Mr. Morrison was
No, no,
so
no,
in
no,
terms
no.
of they are
That's the
lazy and
rumors.
lack and thing. That's the way I see them too, right? So, Mr. Chairman, it's always a pleasure to sit in your company. Leonard, it's always a pleasure. Healthy discussion, and we all do not think alike always, right, Mr. Chairman? We don't see things alike, see things, but we don't think and we don't say things the same way
Great
we say.
program. Great program, Mr. Wade. Great program, Mr.
So yes,
Chairman.
yes. Healthy discussion, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for bringing
Thanks
up
to
and I
Mr.
always show and
Mr.
tell.
Morrison.
Yes,
I think he never
and
gets
Mr.
back
Morrison. Yes.
we lost him for a little bit there.
Yeah, but healthy discussion, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. And thank you always, Leonard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. With that said, I want to thank you, the people at home and abroad, for tuning in, and those of you who will watch our program after we are off the air. I want to say good night to you.